what kind of video would you recommend to show to a friend to tell them about 14 when they've never played an MMO? So what kind of games do they play? Because I think there's a couple ways to view Final Fantasy, and I think they would vary wildly. So if they are, for example, somebody who really likes story, I think at this point, to be a fairly recent video that does a great job, I would probably show them, because it's non-spoiler yet wonderful, the Jesse Cox, his first lore video that he published a couple months ago, not the Astral Umbral, the one before that. And so I would open by that. I think it's a really cool way to present the story, and it's presented to it in a very like history teacher type format. I think that would be a really fun thing to do. If they're super into like high-end battle content, I might show them like the Ren Karagani tank cob video, or some reaction videos, like if they're coming from WoW, you said new to MMO in this case, but if somebody has a past experience of being aware of WoW, maybe going and showing some of like Rich Cobb, or showing like the reactions from like Preach, seeing Titania EX. I think there's some fun things there if they have similar type games, but they think of never an MMORPG. Maybe they've played Diablo and they've played EVE Online and things like that. They're like, oh, but I've never played a game like Final Fantasy XIV. If they're just somebody who plays a lot of RPG games like Skyrim and things like that, but they've never taken the time to hop into an MMO version, MMOs in general, I think, are well sold by somebody like Rook from Bird of Chess, but I don't know that she has that video made for Guild Wars. I don't know that she has that video made for Final Fantasy XIV in particular. So I would probably look at, maybe there's probably some Zeppla videos there that I think would be really, really fun and energetic and very, very positive. So I think it just has to do with things like that. So they've only ever played Pokemon and Animal Crossing. So they are enjoying kind of the collection aspect, the leveling up aspect, and it doesn't need to be tied to a central theme that's really anything more than explaining why we're here. So at that point, I would try to think of like, what is going to show them the broadness of this? What's going to show them the broadness of everything you can do in Final Fantasy XIV in a format that they'd enjoy? So I think at that point, I would probably maybe try showing them like, is Final Fantasy worth it videos? There's a number of those made, so from a creator that you think would better fit their personality. I know I've made a number of those videos. They've also been made by people like Quasi. They've been made, there's been a number of them put out on is Final Fantasy XIV worth it? And you'll know their tone, right? You'll know kind of the type of creator that's going to best speak to them. And that also acts as a first bridge for the creator that they're most likely to watch. So that is what I would do. Yeah. There's another question there about kind of what content to clear before. You've been there since day one. You still have the tramp stamp. Congratulations. That's so cool. That's so cool. Your wife gets most interested in 14 when you show her minions, mounts, housing. Yes, I think cosmetics and kind of the side systems show people a lot of really cool stuff. So, going and showing like a guide for gardening, or a guide for making your chocobo a different color, or a guide for getting particular mounts. Zeppla has a video of every mount available in Final Fantasy XIV, excluding, I think, Seasonal and Mog Station. That video has over 1 million views, so it's very easy to find. And that would be a great way of, oh wow, this is my first time not being A. For like, every time I run this dungeon, I'm in A, so I just default attack the boss. Yeah, so that's a great way to show, like, here's how broad the mount system is. I have friends that play games for stuff like that, and that's a great way to collect. My wife plays games like Animal Crossing, Luigi's Mansion, the Lego Star Wars games. She plays games like that, so she wants to play through like a light story that has light gameplay elements, is very approachable, can come and go at your own pace, and she can just enjoy. She's happy to go back and like collect all the things, but really she just wants to come in and feel not pressured to do any one thing, and if she wants to quit, it's no big deal, and if she wants to pick it up again, it's no big deal, and it doesn't have to monopolize her time. Very different than what I look for in games. And so, in many ways, I think that becomes less of a video and more of a conversation about just explaining what all this game is initially. You know, I think that the MSQ would be probably the single biggest deterrent from my wife playing the game, is that there is this mandatory content and there is a large amount of it. And that she has to play with other people, right? And she doesn't mind. I mean, she's played on like Minecraft public servers with us and stuff with that in the past, like where we've gone and played in private servers together. But ultimately, like, you know, like she will do some co-op stuff, but she doesn't want that pressure. And so the initial leveling experience of this game being a mandatory story with a ton of reading about characters she does not yet care about, may care about in the future, but does not yet. And it's not it's not well written compared to a lot of like books she reads, where the primary format is storytelling. To be in gameplay that forces group play, I think would be a big ask